We're all set now for the FA Cup clash with Boro at the Riverside Stadium. Should be an absolute cracker. I think one thing we should forget is that Boro are actually in the Blue Square Premier League because they're going to come here and play like world beaters. There's no doubt about that. They have nearly 7,000 fans supporting them, and they'll play like a team possessed, certainly in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And Boro have got to be prepared for this. They're not playing a non-league side on the day. They're playing a side that's going to play like another Premier League side, and really you've got to be ready for that. Anything less, and you'll have problems. Middlesbrough went to Manchester United on Monday night and played with the right attitude, the kind of attitude they're going to need against Boro. If they play in the same way that Boro do, then there's no problems. They'll go out there and they'll win the game, knock the ball around, and hopefully score a few goals, something that hasn't been happening lately. But attitude is absolutely crucial. Team-wise, I think there'll be one or two changes. We do expect Brad Jones to come in, have a chance in goal in place of Ross Turnbull, who's been the discovery of the season. Elsewhere, there are quite a few contestants for a place in the starting lineup. Obviously Matthew Bates will be hoping for another chance, but then again Tony McMahon knocking on the door again after the birth of his baby son during the week. A lot of possible changes, so it's difficult to say exactly what Gareth Southgate's going to do. One thing we do need to see is Afonso Alves starting the game up front, because he needs a goal desperately, and I think that's almost guaranteed, certainly with Mido potentially out for a while now as a result of his groin strain. Midfield, well, again, any number of options. We're looking for a good work rate in midfield. It's not an area where Boro have done well in general lately, although they did do well with the extra man there at Old Trafford, and I don't think we'll see three central midfielders against Boro, but what we do need to see them competing there, because they're going to be playing a team possessed, as I say, and we've seen it so many times before how these teams can come and shock you, and Boro have got to be absolutely primed up as though they're playing another Premier League side. If they're not, then they'll have a big problem. I went to Boro a couple of weeks ago to scout out the area, the mood and everything, and was told quite categorically by quite a few fans that they were looking forward to seeing me again for the replay. We don't want this to happen. We need a thoroughly professional performance. I think we'll get it, but anybody who thinks we're going to steamroll a Boro need think again, because it's not going to happen. It's going to be a hard game, and Boro need to be fully primed for that. The great thing is that Boro have actually lifted their own self-belief as they build up to Boro, as a result of what they achieved at Man U. Alright, they didn't go there and win the game. In fact, it was a third consecutive defeat, which doesn't look too good on the records. But having said that, the performance was so much better than we saw against Fulham and Everton that it was a huge step in the right direction. There was a danger, of course, that Boro could have just capitulated, and Southgate was well aware of that fact. But the team went out and played from the start. They do let you play at Manchester United. You know, the theory, I'm sure that Sir Alex Ferguson holds, is that if you let the opposition play, that Man U will probably win because they're a better team, and that's exactly what happened on the day. But because you're allowed to play, you know, you can actually go to Man U and play as a team and get something from it, and that's what Boro got. I thought the extra man in the centre of midfield worked very well. Stuart Downing was the guy who was pushed inside, and we got something from Stuart that's given Southgate a lot of food for thought. I don't think he's going to play three in the middle against Boro, as I say, but he may do it on a regular basis now, particularly away from home, and we know that Downing's quite capable of playing in there in the middle. Julio Arca was absolutely immense at Man U, and we need to see more of that from the Argentine. There's been a couple of games pre-Christmas where I thought he didn't quite perform to the standard he's capable of, but there was no signs of that at Man U. He was winning tackles, getting the ball down, playing it around, and it made a big difference. Gary O'Neill would benefit from the game. That's 2 games under his belt in a very short space of time, and I think the time's ready for him really to take off against Boro. Elsewhere, the defence was fantastic at Man U. They had so much work to get through, but all right, they rode the luck at times, but in the end they were undone by what you might regard as a very unfortunate and probably controversial goal, which on another day could have been disallowed. Michael Carrick knocked the ball into the middle, and quite clearly, I mean, video footage proves it beyond any doubt, Chris Riggett was pushed over by Paul Scholes as he went ahead to try and head the ball away. As a result, I suppose David Wheater was flat-footed by it all. He didn't really expect the ball to come to him. It bounced off his chest and fell so well for Dimitar Berbatov to knock it into the net. A cruel goal to concede, really, because it came at a time when Boro looked as though they'd weathered the storm. They were starting to get in control. They were making United look an average side, and having done that, to then concede a goal at such a stage really did hurt. But Boro lifted themselves, and in the last 20 minutes kept going, and again, you know, might have got something out of the game. I thought probably the Boro attack was the weakest area. Alves came in for Mido and suffered his groin strain, and had a couple of chances in the first half, but nothing in the second half, to be fair. And I thought that the wide players, Ali Adi and Tunjai, didn't really do enough, didn't get the exposure, weren't as creative as we might have hoped, and this is where the team fell down. But overall, self-belief was back to what you would want it to be. They've got to pick themselves up and dust themselves down and build on this. One thing we must not get away from is the fact that Boro are still fourth bottom. If they'd been absolutely trounced at Man U, they might have gone into the bottom three. As it was, a 1-0 defeat makes sure that they didn't fall below Stoke City, kept out the bottom three, a little bit to build on, got to get past Boro. We want a good performance against Boro, we want a result, and then you're looking at 4 fixtures in January, 3 of which are winnable, and this is going to be a crunch month for Boro. They go to West Brom, quite capable of winning there. That they always play well at West Brom. It's going to be a tough game though, because the Baggies have won 2 in a row at home, which has transformed their season overnight. But it's a big game for Boro. But before that, they've got the Sunderland game. This will be a hard game, a really tough testing game. There's something about playing Sunderland in the last couple of years here where we haven't really managed to turn it on. They'll come here really, I suppose, looking to get a point would be a good result, because it would mean that we wouldn't go above them. If we beat Sunderland, we would go above them. So what an incentive that is to get above them, then go to West Brom as it would be on the crest of a wave. Chelsea follows that away at Stamford Bridge, not something you would really want to look forward to. I don't like using the words damage limitation exercise, but that's certainly something that Gareth Southgate wouldn't use. Go there, they'll go there and probably battle in the same way it did at Man U, and let's hope they can get something from it. After that, home to Blackburn, another absolutely massive game. January must produce 6 points for Middlesbrough Football Club. 7 would be even better, but 6 is something they need to start climbing away from the situation they're in.